Now you can take out your anger on over 20 different characters. That's what I call a fight. Super Smash Bros. Melee. Only on Nintendo GameCube.
We've all played Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube. And whether we were playing to beat up our siblings, beat up our kids, or beat up our spouses, it was without inflicting any damage. That is, until some of us started competing at a tournament level, winning money from each other and sacrificing our free time in the process. So, which character should you play to inflict the most damage to your opponent? Many pick Falco, Marth, Captain Falcon, or Jigglypuff. Fox is known to have some of the strongest and hardest to execute strategies in the game, so many eventually work towards playing Fox. But there is another character you can choose, lurking in the shadows, who never seems to prove himself despite all his potential. His canon lore matches his experience on the Melee roster. You guessed it, Melee Bowser is the subject of this video. While there have not been successful Bowsers to date, after over 20 years of competitive Melee, that doesn't tell us the whole story. Players are not entering or playing Bowser for the most part, so the denominator for the success rate of Bowser players is very low. Given the insanely high technical ceiling in Melee, despite the lack of balance patches, the competitive landscape has shifted upon the discovery and implementation of new technical maneuvers. Ledge cancels, crouch canceling, no impact landing, and wavelands, as well as numerous character-specific techniques, are advances which have allowed characters like Pikachu, Roy, and Yoshi to excel. Given the practice tools available today, Bowser should be more usable than ever, considering many of the technical maneuvers can help address his weaknesses. The best way to explain the lack of Bowser play is the primal Bowser fear deep within the id of most Melee players. We all played the Mario games growing up, and Bowser is the main bad guy. It's totally understandable why you guys are afraid. Despite widespread Bowser fear, the character does some things effectively and has strategic advantages that make him a fine pick in Melee. Bowser fear can be when you're afraid to choose him, when you're afraid to play against him, or could even be when you're afraid to acknowledge his strengths. As a community, we may never overcome Bowser fear, and perhaps that is inherent. There is no perfect equation to solve Melee, at least not yet. In a minute, I will give more detail on what about Bowser is strong, even with perfect execution. But it is important to weigh the human factor in competitive play. Bowser fear is real, but to use it to your advantage, you have to have the Bowser philosophy. Bowser is the hardest hitting character in the game and needs to use his power wisely. He must pay attention to his actionability and extra attention to his stage positioning. When most opponents are above, below in his range, or off stage against Bowser, it might be time for a Bowser advantageous mix-up. Bowser can press his advantage once it is won, since he is a run-up-the-stairs kind of character. But what exactly does Bowser have over other characters, aside from widespread disdain? Without referencing specific values, we can compare him relative to other popular cast members. Bowser has mostly tilt and smash speed attacks, even on his jab and aerials. He gets a boon for connecting his attacks via damage, early knockdowns, and early knocks off stage. Bowser has the easiest to execute, most damaging, immediately invincible move in the game. His up B Bowser Fortress can do 32% in the air, which equals half of a Peach down smash. It can edge hog, knock down, and is a go-to option out of shield. Bowser is the heaviest character in the game, which means he is the fastest actionable character out of hit stun in the game. Weight is such a good stat to have that they actually gave him even more weight in the European version of Melee, PAL. He is a mid-fast faller, the same as Pikachu, between Yoshi and Mario. That makes him unusual to combo. Think Luigi weaseling out of combos, just actionable even sooner. When fast falling, though, Bowser's fall speed is comparable to Sheik's, making him unreactable once Bowser is already airborne. Bowser also has one of the only command grabs in the game, his side B, which allows him to grab from the air and toss opponents up for a combo or off stage to their doom. Bowser could also take advantage of his amazing air dodge while airborne, which has the quickest activating and longest air dodge intangibility duration in the game. It is floaty enough after the air dodge to grab ledge from pretty close. If Bowser is under a platform, he has a relatively easy time achieving no impact lands with his double jump, allowing him to reposition quickly or kill with fortress or up tilt. Most of Bowser's moves have interrupt as soon as windows, auto cancel windows, or hurtbox withdrawal prior to active hitboxes, which make him tricky. Bowser has by far the largest shield in the game, and as mentioned before, benefits immensely from crouch cancel and ASDI down. A savvy Bowser will capitalize on the character's strengths by focusing on fundamentals such as stage positioning, Bowser-favored rock, paper, scissors, and patience. Let the Bowser fear do its job. In neutral, Bowser always wants to have as many defensive options as he can, so that he can land a counter hit. For example, out of crouch cancel with either fortress or grab. Walking, wave dashing, and crouching are great action states to employ. Since you can't crouch cancel out of dash, Bowser really should only dash dance to bait an opponent who is near the edge or has a slower dash speed. Empty hopping can provide offensive pressure at the right distance, since you can land with command grab, aerial, air dodge, or wave land into grounded attack. Bowser almost always wins trades and can take advantage of early knockdowns to get a better chance of a follow-up off of the tech chase. This ideally will lead to the opponent off stage, awaiting your ledge trap. If Bowser happens to get hit off stage himself, you can expect to live to absurdly high percents and should generally recover high and mix up your drift so that the opponent can't just grab the ledge. Worst case, you try again or are KO'd over 200%. I know, nobody hopes to see more Bowser players out there, but that's kind of my point in competing with him. Thanks for watching.